now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling with Freddie. Our co-host, Mr. Jeff Dye, has been screwed over by the airlines once again and will not be joining. So you are stuck with Uncle Federico. And here comes the news. WWE Backlash has come and gone, and San Juan, Puerto Rico was on fire for the pay-per-view. Will Puerto Rico become part of the TV tour moving forward? Well, unless they get another 1.5. Probably not. WWE touts Backlash 2023 as highest grossing and most viewed Backlash event in company history. AEW has now confirmed that All In 2 has sold 60,000 tickets with a $7.7 million value, all without even booking a single match, although we can guess a couple of them. Finally, the WWE has announced that there will be a tournament to crown a new World Heavyweight Champion, and the finals will take place at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia on May 27th, because they paid a lot more than the 1.5 Puerto Rico did. And that is the news. Good evening and good luck. All right, you guys, welcome to the show. Thanks to Big Biff. He's awesome as always. And let's begin with a little Backlash recap. First things first, this pay-per-view was friggin' awesome. The crowd in Puerto Rico was so hot. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and be like, man, that was the best WWE crowd ever. Because I still feel like Canada and England are the most hyped places because they don't never get it, but they don't get it enough, right? They don't get the wrestling up there enough. But Puerto Rico had a similar vibe. And the difference was the passion's equal, right? But you just felt like they care about wrestling in a similar fashion to the Canadians, because they both they don't take credit for it. Puerto Rico doesn't take credit for it, but the wrestling there is unique, different. Corey Graves talked about the home of hardcore in his history lesson of the week. Love Corey Graves, by the way. I think he just does an excellent job. From the first day he started all the way till now, I've always loved him. And he got called the Titus sliding under the ring at the 40-man Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia and lost his shit. So that endeared him to my heart, to my cold black heart. But the crowd here was insane. The love that they gave these wrestlers, the love that they gave their own when Zelina Vega came in, it blew me away. The Carlito spot, the Vega spot, like all this, they just showed so much love. It was great to see Mexicans and Puerto Ricans treating each other as equals and understanding that we're all in this together. Remember, it's this other culture that has separated us, and we've accepted that. So I feel like every new generation cares a little bit less about that stuff, so long as you're cool, right? And that's what this felt like. It was like, we're all Latinos. This is awesome. Let's rock and roll. When I was coming up, y'all talk mad shit about each other, and that needs to stop. And I'm sure you still do it in fun and jest, but the bad stuff needs to stop. And I thought this was a beautiful sort of congregation of Latinos to express their love for something that everyone there, probably still thinks is real. So I loved every minute of this show. I thought it was fantastic. But we're going to start with the women's world champion over 400 days. She is now the one, the only Bianca Belair, the champ, versus Io Sky from Damage Control. And let me tell you right now, they burnt the house down in the very first match. These two women, and the crowd is not equally responsible, but they played a huge part in this match. Right away, and I don't know why, I don't know for certain, but right away, the love that they gave Io Sky proves what we've been saying for a while. Like heels and baby faces, the fans pick who they like based on skill, mic skill, ring skill, ability to stay in the moment, all that stuff. Your social media game, is it tight? Is it weak? All that stuff. They decide if you're a heel to them or a baby face to them, a hero or a villain. And they embraced Io at a level that I haven't seen since she's been in. I thought I was Io's biggest fan. I'm not even close. I've spoken about her a million times on this podcast. I love Io Shirai from NXT, and this crowd was so hyped for her. You would have thought she had been given a 6-month storyline of her climbing the mountain to earn this championship and had to go through hell and back. And she finally got the match. And here comes the bad guy, Bianca Belair. Now, I won't say this. I'm not going to say there were more boos than cheers, but they decided who they were rooting for. And it was Io Sky. Bianca Belair got some cheers because you got to respect what she's doing in the ring because her work in there is getting better and better. I think her mic work kind of peaked, but that doesn't mean that's as good as it's going to get. It just means she hasn't been challenged with the right kind of promo or the right story to take her to the next level. She's most certainly an artist though, and artists evolve so long as we are brought a new challenge. And I think that's what she needs. But in the ring, her work's super clean. Although I didn't think I would love the match as much as I did. This was from Jump Street. These girls owned the crowd. The crowd felt like they were a part of the match. Io let them know that their love was appreciated, but she didn't do it in like a, aw, shucks kind of way. She did it like, yeah, that's right. I'm badass and you know it. So she maintained her heel dignity. The crowd just wasn't having it. They loved her. And this girl, for those of you who haven't watched wrestling, if you have the Peacock app, go on the replay right now. By the way, this is my match of the week. My match of the week. Io Sky versus the champion Bianca Belair. Go on Peacock. It's the very first match of the pay-per-view. You won't have to search or waste any time or get frustrated trying to find it. It's the very first match. Both women are phenomenal athletes. The gymnastics that Io does, the aerial stuff that she does is second to none. They're both, for all you fellas out there, they're both drop dead gorgeous. For all you mothers out there, they're not Barbie doll, I have to be perfect kind of figures. Like Bianca Belair is a friggin' athlete, y'all. She's not skinny. She's not fat, but she's not skinny. She's jacked. She lifts. You could tell she deadlifts, squats, the leg press, the leg extension, the hamstring curl, whatever. I don't do all these exercises, so I'm kind of guessing. The calf raise machine. She does all this stuff. She's super buff. It's not like crazy buff, but you could tell she was a college athlete. And then you got Io Sky, who's also in great shape, but doesn't have near the chiseled physique that Bianca Belair has. But she, as the smaller wrestler, the story she tells in order to do damage, she has to put herself in harm's way and do a lot of aerial stuff. You guys, if you're longtime listeners, have heard me talk about Jeff Hardy and the philosophy of how a Jeff Hardy match plays in a win and a loss is very similar. He's going to take a beating and he's going to do some crazy stuff to give you one too, but it's going to hurt him as well. And Io isn't in that exact same category, but her aerial work is, and she does a lot of it. She does this blind back layout, which is basically a back flip where you keep your legs super straight. And she's just trusting that that her opponent's there and ready. And it's so sick. she did it in this match. And when she landed, you could hear the impact. So when people say it's fake, I go, yeah, I feel you. It's choreographed, but they're taking like huge shots. I've seen so many wrestlers with legit black eyes and broken noses and busted teeth and real blood, not from a razor, but from getting punched in the face. So that shit is real. It's just the finishes that are choreographed and the reason why they fight is fake. But there's nothing fake about black eyes. They hurt and they suck. She landed so great on this. It sounded great. It looked great. They gave the girls a lot of time. Io injures Bianca Belair's shoulder at one point, and they spent the rest of the match kind of using that as the story point in the match, so you can kind of understand some of the psychology there for new listeners and new fans. Every minute of it, the crowd was going crazy. They would do their cheers and boos on the back and forth shots, and you could tell it was very pro-yo, but this was a beautiful match. I would encourage everybody to go and watch it. You could just tell both women had an absolute blast doing it. Bianca might have been a little surprised, but it could have been fake surprise, and she could have been enjoying the moment just as much. But great match. It was my match of the week. Seth Rollins versus Omos. This would have been Jeff Dye's match of the week, I guarantee you. He loves Omos. He loves the giant, huge guys. If you're 6'9", he wouldn't even give that. 6'10" or over, he's going to have big time love for you. He loves the big guys. And you know that your boy loves Seth freaking, I'll dress how I want. I don't care what Freddie says, Rollins. But guess what, Seth? In Puerto Rico, you came correct, sir. You dressed like a professional wrestler and not like someone that I would see at a comic convention. He came out in sweet wrestling pants. They were like, I don't even know. It was like silver and black. I couldn't tell what the design was, but they looked super cool. And then he has this like black leather jacket with some like black fur on it. So he still got a little bit of like the what is it? The style, the new style out there, but he kept it contained. He kept it composed because he was dealing with the Nigerian nightmare. I did not think I was going to like this match. I was almost dreading Jeff saying how much he loved it because he'll love it no matter what because his guy's in the match. They have now done it twice in a row with Omos. He has lost and still looked good while losing. The first time was with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I didn't think I would enjoy that match, but they told a pretty quick, decent story. And then in comes Seth Rollins and the crowd's cheering. The crowd got Seth's ass whipped, by the way. They sang for so long, Omos got tired of it and just blasted on Seth Rollins before the match even started while his eyes are closed and he's just soaking up the love. And then he's down on the ground looking up like, what the hell, you son of a bitch? The match hasn't even started yet. And the ref's like, are you good? I would have said no. Seth Rollins says, I'm good. Takes off his cool jacket that fit and looked like it was made for a man. And he started the damn match, and he takes an absolute whooping for, I don't even know, 5 minutes before he even does a little bit of damage. Seth Rollins, of course, is going to carry the match. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he made Omos look so good. He made an Iron Claw look good. I haven't seen an Iron Claw look good in over 25 years. I wasn't a big fan of the Great Khali Iron Claw. No matter what the guys did to sell, it just never looked, or the Vice Grip, they called it for Great Khali. It never looked as legit, right? He would use two hands. That's why they called it a Vice Grip and not an Iron Claw. But this Iron Claw, man, Seth made it look great. Omos, credit to him too, man. He made it look good. It looked legit. It looked like the old school Nintendo's regular first Nintendo Entertainment System pro wrestling. There was a guy, but he had an Iron Claw move, and you could do it like 30 times in a row to your homies. And then they'd just be on the mat forever. And they'd just be like, just hurry up and pin me. And you'd be like, nah, buddy, we're going to count how long you're down for. And guys would get so hot. You could do another guy, a luchador named Starman, and he would do this backflip kick, and you could just, it was down in A, and you could do it so fast, you could just hit a fool like 300 times with it. He'd be down for like 3 minutes straight, and you just don't pin him. It was beautiful. The old days, the 80s. This match was awesome. Seth Rollins did a curb stomp, or they just call it the stomp. Did the stomp, he did 2, and Omos kicked out. What? He did a frog splash. Omos kicked out at 1. What? Deal with it. It took a full-on stomp from, I'm guessing, I think it was the top turnbuckle. And he finally gets the win. Seth Rollins with the victory. Another loss for Omos, but I will say this. He looked good. They made him look good twice in a row, and he lost. So I know a lot of people are going to say, well, if you need him to be legit, a legit threat, that, you know, he's got to win some of these matches. Yeah, but I don't think he's got to beat Brock friggin' Lesnar or Seth friggin' Rollins. You know what I'm saying? Like, he took a couple losses. Now he could take a step back and start beating some mid-card dudes. And then he makes his next run when he's more ready and more prepared for the top dogs. It's okay to lose to the top dogs. You guys are being kind of crazy about this. Don't forget who the top dogs are. Moving on. The United States Championship was a triple threat match with Austin Theory as the champ, Bobby Lashley, and Bronson Reed. Well, it certainly wasn't my favorite match of the night, but I will say this. Bobby Lashley's entrance is it's so ridiculous. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like he looks like a Greek god, and they shine the lights on him, and he's like standing on a spinning podium, so he looks like a statue in the Vatican or some shit. Like it's just, he looks exactly the same as he did when he debuted in the WWE 20 years ago. Was it 20 years ago? Is that how I'm getting old, y'all? I'm gonna have to start getting that Hims. The hairline starting to go. I'm getting old, y'all. I'm gonna have to Hims it up. I'm gonna have to get on the testosterone replacement and be 50 years old and just shredded. Bobby Lashley is an absolute monster that I will never look like, and I will always wish that I did. Even if it was just, I'm sure my joints couldn't handle it, but if I could be buff just once, man, it would be so nice. This match wasn't my favorite. I don't like Bobby getting thrown out of the ring, but I also don't want to see Bobby with his shoulders on the mat taking the 1, 2, 3. So I guess they did it perfectly, and I'm just bitching for no reason. But it wasn't my favorite match. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Here we go, y'all. The SmackDown Women's Championship. The champion, Rhea Ripley, having defeated Charlotte Flair, the greatest female champion of all time, Charlotte Flair. I think she already has the most title reigns of all women and soon will pass her father. Well, she was defeated by the Australian Rhea Ripley, who you know Mr. Jeff Dye and I love. We love you, Rhea Ripley. We think you're awesome. But on this day, I had to root for Zelina Vega, or my cousins would call me a disgrace to the race because they're foul like that. This was, being of Puerto Rican descent, this was super special to see someone who's far more Puerto Rican than I am. I'm just a Puerto Rican, but as my loving cousins used to say as well. But she is a Puerto Rican girl, and to wrestle in front of an arena of 17,000 Puerto Ricans who all love you, and you come out and your wardrobe is basically the Puerto Rican flag. You could see it right away. She couldn't hold it together. Like her eyes welled up with tears, like Sean Penn and Dead Man Walking right before they kill him. And he wouldn't give you the tear because he's such a sick actor. He like sucked it back in somehow, but you saw the whole eye well up. That was Zelina Vega in this moment. And she was a dead man walking because she had to face Rhea Ripley in the friggin' ring. And Rhea's not losing to anyone. Bianca will lose before Rhea Ripley does for sure. So Zelina comes in. The crowd is just so hot. So hot. It was also awesome seeing Rhea Ripley with an I'm Your Mommy shirt in Puerto Rico, by the way. That was just irony at its greatest. This was not a long match. I think it was about 10 to 12 minutes. She got a couple good moves in there. She got the 619 with her knees instead of with the feet. So that was kind of cool. She did a nice Eddie shimmy and then jumping knees into Rhea's chest and then smashed her down on the ground. But this was Rhea's night. Rhea is the champ for a reason. She is the total package. She is another girl who's not another Barbie doll, all you mothers out there. And for you girl dads out there, she's a good role model for young, strong women. She's a bigger girl. I'm not saying she's fat. She's thick. She's in good shape. This was Rhea's night. Not a back and forth match, probably an 80-20 match, 80 Rhea, 20 Zelina. But it was the end of this match that was the beautiful part. And she slammed Zelina down. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And she got out of the ring so quickly because she knew what this moment was going to be. So kudos to the real life Rhea Ripley. I don't know your real name. She got out of the ring really fast and allowed Zelina Vega to have this moment with the crowd that could have lasted the rest of the show. Zelina eventually got out of there after, I thought it was almost too quick. I thought she could have had another 60 seconds because the crowd wasn't getting quieter. And then she finally broke down. Look, Sean Penn is Sean Penn for a reason. Zelina Vega is not quite at the Sean Penn level. And this time she couldn't suck the tear back in. The tear flowed. And we love you, Zelina. You deserve that moment. You did everybody so proud. And it's weird to say I'm proud of people that I'm not like related to, but I just felt a great deal of pride in that last moment, even though she lost, like the love that the crowd gave her. It was really powerful and just a really nice moment in wrestling. Wasn't the best match of the night, but it didn't matter because the moment was the biggest moment of second biggest, because the next match was a San Juan street fight with Damian Priest, professional wrestler, right? That's what he does. He fights, versus music sensation Bad Bunny. Or tonight, anyway, he was the good bunny because he was the good guy and Damian Priest was the bad guy. This was a really good match. I don't know how these celebs are doing it. They must be committed and or incredibly just athletically gifted as well and just picked a different career path to go down. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people going, who's better, Logan or Bad Bunny? I don't know. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and say Bad Bunny because Logan Paul's moves look really, really clean. Logan also did the job and lost to Seth Rollins, whereas Bad Bunny won, but the way he won was beautiful. It's like every Puerto Rican but me came out to help him. This match and the story they told was definitely superior to the WrestleMania match between Logan and Seth with the KSI interference. Definitely a superior story. The match itself was way better. And the amount of cameos they had from the LWO and Ray to Vega to my man Carlito, who I used to write for back in the day. I wrote him and his brother, named his brother Primo, because they were going to give him some stupid name. And I wrote their first storyline to the championship. That was the first thing that I didn't book. I didn't book it, but I pitched it, got it. Michael Freebird, P.S. Hayes booked it, and I wrote it according to his booking. But he came out and got like a Stone Cold Steve Austin pop because that's his people, man. His father is like, wow, his father's kind of like my father in regards that we both are legacy kids and had to follow in tremendous footsteps. His father was the biggest wrestling promoter in Puerto Rico and wrestled, I think, for Vince's dad and Vince at one point, but he was huge. Carlos Colon was his name. For those who don't know, you can Google the history on it. You'll learn more about it than I know. But Carlito is his son and had to walk in that shadow. I wouldn't say we bonded over that, but there was a nod because we weren't like bros, but there was like a nod to one another because we both kind of had similar weight on our shoulders back when I worked there. But he came in, he had 2 or 3 great moments in there. All 3 opportunities he had, he killed them. The crowd was so hyped, and it helped lead Bad Bunny to the victory. I don't want to like celebrities in wrestling, and I think it's David Arquette's fault. I've since forgiven David, as I hope y'all forgive him too. I think he's contributed enough goodwill now. And I think if we're all honest with ourselves and we were pitched becoming the world champion in the moment, it would be damn hard to say no. So I think he deserves forgiveness and a lot of latitude. And since then, he has done a lot of good stuff for wrestling. I like David a lot. I'm just kind of half playing with him here. Man, this match was good. It was almost my match of the week. A professional wrestling match with a musician. With a Grammy-winning musician, Freddie. All right, sorry, damn. A Grammy-winning musician. And he was in a professional wrestling match, and it wasn't like a comedy match like Andy Kaufman or the Jackass guys. It was legit, and he won, and it was believable the way he won. Damian Priest hurts his knee halfway through the match. Bad Bunny takes advantage of it. That's what hampers the match. Then he has to deal with 5, 6 other dudes that are all there to help him. Granted, he had 2 of his own. Damian Priest had 2 of his own guys come and try to help him at one point. But still, they made it to where Damian didn't look like shit and Bad Bunny got to shine. You can't have Zelina lose and Bad Bunny lose in the same night. That would just, why would you go to Puerto Rico? They paid you $1.5 million. I should have thought about this before I said they were going to lose last week on the show. You can't get $1.5 million from a place and then have all their guys lose. That leads us to the main event. Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes, and I am relieved and glad to say that my friend's prediction of the hard time storyline with Cody Rhodes was incorrect. Thank God. He got to look good. He got to look strong. He didn't get to win with his finisher, which protects Brock. It was bloody, which was good. I was good. And I don't know if Cody knows he did this, but he did the Santino Marella walk when he was at. Did anybody see this? Did anybody else see this? I think he was just like pumping himself up, and so he was pumping his arms up and down like a choo-choo train. And he was out. They were outside of the ring, and he's walking over to the stairs, and full on it looked like Santino Marella. And there's no way he was doing it as a tribute to Santino Marella. He just did it. I was really glad to see Cody win. I was really glad to see Cody look strong. I love the new Brock Lesnar who doesn't have to win all the time. It doesn't hurt Brock to lose. It really doesn't hurt Brock Lesnar to lose. Everybody knows who the hell he is and what the hell he could do to anybody he wants at any time. So I think it only helps people out. It makes Cody look fantastic. It helps prepare Cody for not the next chapter, because I don't believe he's done with Brock yet. They might do 3 matches like he did with Seth Rollins. But it just prepares him and makes him an even more credible opponent for Roman when I think he eventually does chase that title down and get to bring that home for his family, which is really cool. This pay-per-view was amazing. All the wrestlers got love. The show was fantastic. I don't know when we'll see them there again. Tourism boards are tricky. When I worked for the WWE, they weren't big on trying to go to Puerto Rico, period. I think they've gone once as far as television goes, since I left the company, which was in 2009. I don't remember. Maybe 2010. I don't know. So it's going to be tricky because Puerto Rico is not the richest territory on the planet. They just suffered a tremendous natural catastrophe. It's not a wealthy place. The tourism board paid 1.5 for this show. The Saudis paid upwards and above 40 million for the shows that they received there. It's a publicly traded company. They're going to more than likely go where the money is. And you can't bring, I don't believe it, any tourism board would bring the same show back every year. I think they would try to diversify that, bring in music sometimes, art shows, that kind of, especially in Puerto Rico. So I don't know if they would spend that much money because that could be their whole budget. You know what I mean? And the WWE did them right, spoke about how beautiful it is there and how wonderful the people are. Shout out to Corey Graves again, showed the people mad love. And I don't know if I would love for it to be a yearly thing. It would be cool if Backlash had a home and that home was Puerto Rico. But I don't think that's feasible in the modern business world. And if you ask me why, I'd tell you, I don't know. I just don't think it's feasible. I think they're going to chase the money. And when people see these events do well, meaning other countries' tourism boards, then they're going to offer more than 1.5 million. And all of a sudden you might see, Backlash in, I don't know, Timbuktu, because they gave him $4 million and beat everybody else's offer. So yeah, I hope they go back. I thought the crowd definitely showed that they can sell out and that they can show up. And they showed out when the matches started. So hopefully that counts for something. Don't know how much it is when they go, we already got your money. But you never know. I wish them the best. There's no hot tag for you guys this week because Jeff's not here. I just have cold tags. And I don't know where he's performing next weekend. But if you go to Jeff Dye Comedy, you can check it out and see his schedule there. As for me, I got nothing but love for you, babies. I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wrestling with Freddie. Today I have no friends. Peace. This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.